All right, so Ring Magazine just released all of their nominees for their yearly awards from 2025. So I thought, why not do a series of videos predicting all the awards? Starting with the most fun, obviously, knockout of the year. So if you are a boxing fan, chances are you've probably already seen all of these. Going into it, I think the favorite is probably Brian Norman knocking out Jin Sasaki. And I think a close second should be Frank Martin knocking out Rancis Bartholomew. So I've already seen all these. If you're an avid boxing fan, you've probably already seen all of them, but we're going to go back and watch them again. So in no particular order, let's just go top to bottom. So let's go Fabio Wardley and Justice Hooney first. This one, I mean, it was a good knockout, but I think the only reason it's probably on here is because Fabio Wardley was down on all the scorecards and pretty much needed a knockout, and he got it. So I think the situation is a lot more why this is on here. So Wardley, I apologize if the audio bleeds through, but Wardley was down on all the scorecards, needed a knockout. Got it right. I mean, it's a good one. It's a good knockout, but just straight 1-2 basically. There's definitely been better ones this year. I think the situation is most likely why this is a nominee. So yeah, that one I think was a lot more the situation than the actual knockout itself. Just a basic 1-2. Because I think going into that, I had Fabio Wardley only winning, I think, one round in the whole fight up until then, and then he got the KO. So, but let's look at the next one: Brian Norman Jr. and Jin Sasaki. This one I think is gonna win. So it's this knockout in particular. Let me just turn the volume down a tiny bit. It's this knockout in particular that made people think that Brian Norman had a shot at beating Devin Haney. It's a great one, dude. Let's watch that again. I think this is gonna win. I mean, this one was so good, it really made people think that he was gonna do the same thing to Devin Haney. Oh yeah. So this next one is Usyk knocking out Daniel Dubois in Usyk Dubois 2. I think this might be a sleeper. I think this might be a sleeper because Usyk not really known as a power puncher, but put Dubois almost out cold. So he put Dubois down twice. Second one is the knockout, obviously. This one actually was surprisingly brutal for Usyk. Damn, Dubois is not out cold though. So is that better than the Brian Norman one? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, next we got Bam knocking out Fernando the Puma Martinez. This was a fairly good one, but I don't think it's gonna win. I mean, it's a good knockout. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's a knockout of the year. I think it's more because it's Bam, but again, not out cold, bro. Not out cold like Brian Norman had Jin Sasaki and like Frank Martin had Rancis Bartholomew. That one we're gonna watch next, but I think this one's more just because it's Bam, and this is my sleeper, bro. This is my sleeper. He had Bartholomew out cold. Brian Norman and Frank Martin had him both out cold. That's why I think it's one of these two. One of these two. I think this is a sleeper. Right there. Oof. Out cold, bro. So going back and rewatching, my opinion on which one should win hasn't changed. I still think Brian Norman is the favorite, with a close second being Frank Martin. And if I had to choose one sleeper pick, I'm gonna say Usyk, just because it's Usyk, and that knockout is what made him three-time undisputed, two-time at heavyweight. But I think the situation for that one makes it a sleeper because while it's not as great as Brian Norman's or Frank Martin's, I think the context weighs very heavily. But I don't really think context matters when it comes to knockout of the year. I think it's just which one's the coolest. And for me, that's Brian Norman Jr. knocking out Jin Sasaki. But let me know in the comments, which one do you guys think is going to win?